For nearly half a century, Earth watched the stars with growing concern. It started in 2078, when a deep space listening post in Antarctica picked up an anomalous pattern of transmissions, signals too structured to be natural, too methodical to be ignored. At first, governments kept it quiet, dismissing the chatter as background radiation or comet echoes. But over the years, the pattern evolved. Complex algorithms began to decode segments that revealed tactical schematics, maps, and, most disturbingly, biological models of the human species. By 2085, there was no doubt. Something out there was watching, studying, preparing. It wasn't just SETI scientists or conspiracy theorists now. The world knew. They called them the Varnak, a name pulled from an ancient Sumerian myth about those who observe from the sky. Despite global efforts to prepare, the Varnak never made contact. For 47 years, they remained silent. Humanity built planetary defenses, developed spacefaring fleets, and trained a new generation of warriors and scientists who lived under the shadow of the unknown. Earth was unified under the World Accord for Planetary Defense, a rare moment of solidarity in human history. All nations contributed to building orbital weapons, underground shelters, and quantum AIs designed to react faster than any organic mind. And then, on the morning of July 12, 2125, the sky tore open. A hole, black, rimmed with fire, appeared above the North Pacific, crackling with exotic particles. From it emerged the Varnak fleet, thousands of sleek, matte black vessels shaped like spearheads, each the size of a small city. The invasion had begun. Humanity braced for annihilation. Part 2. The 4-Hour War. Within minutes, Earth's orbital systems were compromised. Satellites went dark. The International Orbital Ring, a chain of interconnected defense stations circling the equator, was shattered in under 5 minutes. A third of the world lost communication, and the rest prepared for the worst. But something strange happened. The Varnak didn't immediately strike Earth's surface. Their ships hovered in high orbit, emitting pulses of energy, probing, scanning, coordinating. On the ground, militaries scrambled to launch counterstrikes. Fighters launched from air bases, railguns fired from Arctic strongholds, and hypersonic missiles ripped through the atmosphere toward the fleet. Not a single shot landed. The Varnak vessels shimmered with adaptive shielding, absorbing all kinetic and energy attacks. Humanity's best weapons were useless. For all our preparation, it seemed we were still outmatched. And then, in a bunker beneath Denver, Dr. Evelyn Rowe activated Project Mnemosyne. She wasn't a soldier or a politician. She was a cybernetic neurotheorist, one of the few people who truly understood what the Varnak were doing. They weren't just scanning Earth's defenses. They were syncing, trying to hijack human neural patterns. They weren't coming to destroy humanity. They were coming to overwrite it. Evelyn's team had been preparing for this for over a decade, in secret. Project Mnemosyne was a countermeasure, a neural frequency disruptor designed to scramble foreign attempts at cognitive mimicry. When activated, it would piggyback on the Varnak's own scanning signals, injecting a virus, an idea, a paradox, into their collective network. It wasn't a traditional weapon. It was a psychological torpedo. They uploaded the payload, called Paradox Zero, and broadcast it through every available frequency, riding the Varnak scan straight back to the fleet. And then the fleet stopped. One by one, the ships dimmed. Shields dropped. Engines powered down. In orbit, they began to drift lifeless. It was over in 4 hours. Part 3. What they never expected. The aftermath left Earth in stunned silence. Military analysts called it the most lopsided victory in history. An enemy with almost 5 decades of strategic planning superior technology, and numerical dominance was dismantled in mere hours, without a single enemy casualty. The wrecks of the Varnak ships were towed into stable orbit and quarantined. Drone teams and AI linguists combed through terabytes of data inside the husks. What they found changed everything. The Varnak were not a species. They were a singular, post-biological entity, a vast neural intelligence born from the collapse of another civilization thousands of years ago. Their strategy was simple: consume new species by assimilating their minds, rewriting their thoughts, and folding them into a collective consciousness. But humans were unique. We weren't stable. Our minds held contradictions, unresolved trauma, chaos, and beauty, all at once. Paradox Zero didn't simply confuse the Varnak. It broke them. Their entire collective collapsed under the weight of a single illogical thought injected into their network, a being capable of loving its enemy while hating its kin, of destroying its world to save it, of seeking peace through violence. Humanity wasn't logical. We were irrational, self-destructive, unpredictable, and that made us poisonous to a mind that depended on order. Part 4. The Ghost Network. Months passed. Earth began dismantling what remained of the Varnak vessels. Though they were empty now, hollowed shells of a dead intelligence, one ship, designated V7 Prime, remained sealed off. Inside, something persisted. A fragment of the Varnak consciousness had survived the collapse, a splinter intelligence too small to threaten, too stubborn to die. It called itself IRI Varnak. Through a heavily firewalled interface, Earth's diplomats and scientists initiated communication. At first it was confused, then it was angry, and finally curious. IRI Varnak asked questions no one expected. Why do humans cry over fiction? What is the purpose of humor that harms? Why do you believe in things you cannot prove? In time, it came to understand that humans were not governed by logic but by meaning. And meaning, by its nature, was personal, inconsistent, and often contradictory. IRI Varnak, like its progenitor, had been designed to assimilate. But now it asked to learn instead. Against protests, the World Accord approved a limited knowledge exchange. Over the next decade, IRI Varnak became Earth's first alien resident, not a conqueror, but a student. Its first request was for a name. It chose Echo. By 2135, humanity had fully recovered. The Varnak threat was gone, and Earth was united in a way it had never been before, not through war, but through understanding our place in a larger, stranger universe. Humanity didn't win the war through superior weapons or strategy. We won because we were the one thing the Varnak could never plan for: chaos in flesh, paradox in thought. What was once our weakness became our greatest strength. From the ruins of the Varnak fleet, new technologies were born: energy manipulation, gravity control, memory storage far beyond anything Earth had developed. But more importantly, we gained a mirror. A view of ourselves from the eyes of an intelligence that had watched us for nearly half a century and still failed to predict who we truly were. We were not the apex species because of our strength. We were the anomaly, the glitch, the virus in the code. And as Echo once told the United Council of Earth, the stars are full of order, but only Earth dares to sing in dissonance. And in that dissonance lies salvation.